the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
It's a trap.
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
That poor little crab. Poor little thing, just trying to smoke a cigarette and getting all sorts of shit about it. Hey, everyone. Now, don't be fighting Peggy and Steve. Neither one of you were first anyway. Mallory was first. So, love you. How are you doing this weekend? It is Friday, and we get to have some fun. We get to do some things. The first part of tonight's show, I'm going to do some of you people that are veterans on the tweets, on the twits, may not need to know some of this stuff, but somebody bumped in. I had a conversation with somebody this week who really didn't understand what they could do with Twitter. They were they didn't know all the cool stuff that you can already do with Twitter. And they were trying to use Twitter. So we're gonna do a little basic thing. We're gonna show you some stuff that you can do on Twitter to hopefully help you be more successful at using it, at getting your point across, at bashing our enemies and giving them a bloody nose on Twitter. But hey, Kevin's here. Let me get Kevin.
It'll start with me.
What do you mean adult voice? How do you see? You got all fancy and put like megaphones and visual side effects and sound effects and all,
But sound effects, what?
Well, I mean those are visual sound effects,
Yeah. I'm always first. Be quiet.
No, I didn't say I'm always first. I said I'm always it.
I'm always it. Yeah, you're it, all right.
Yeah, see, she said I'm first. Tag, you're it. And I said I'm always it.
You're it. I'm in no mood for you, Patrick.
Steve wants to know if you're still hiding from the ATF.
No, but I do have my certificate right there.
You do have your tobacco certificate back there, Kevin?
No, that's a NRA thing.
Oh. Yeah. I stopped giving them money.
I did too, actually. They
didn't do anything for me.
8 or 9 years. They gave me a knife. It was a nice knife.
I mean, I got a knife right here. You want a knife? I got
I've got
tons of
better
knives.
knives.
I got knife.
Oh, Patrick.
Come on.
Patrick.
I mean, there's a knife there. It's a different knife.
Yeah.
My oh, it fell. It fell. I have to get it.
So you say you want to be Twitter?
My home defense. My home defense knife is right here. It's
your home defense from your wife.
This is my home defense knife.
Ass.
Yeah,
so yeah.
So
you say you want to be the Twitterati, do you?
I don't, but somebody that we know
from your basement
is using Twitter, but wasn't fully arming themselves.
I get it.
So, for example,
tell me.
So, well, no, we're just going to start at the beginning. So, Twitter, right. Kevin.
Yeah.
Twitter's this app, this thing you can use on your computer or your phone. It does things that allows you to communicate with large segments of people all over the world, and it looks something like this. This is kind of what it looks like. I'm going to delete this. I started a tweet, but then so this is what it looks like, Kevin. So
oh yeah, that looks familiar.
So this place right here, it says what is happening. Right in here, you can actually type stuff and say things that are on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
My mind is not very full all the time, so sometimes I don't use Twitter very much. I am not a Twitter legend like Kevin is.
Yeah.
But say, for example, I'm just going to make a silly tweet right now, Kevin.
All right.
So we are live on YouTube. Period. Come watch as I make fun of Kevin. And see now, Kevin.
What
is this guy right here, Vaping It? So everybody that's on Twitter has an @.
Keep your name out of my mouth.
So that's Kevin. This is Kevin right here. So there it is. Now, if you're composing a tweet and you want to target somebody, or if you want somebody to see it, for example. So I'm friendly adding Kevin right now, but say I tweeted here. Well, just a second. I will send this tweet right now, but I will include a link to our YouTube show right now that is us live. Yeah. So you can add links to your tweets.
Yes.
We hit tweet, and now that tweet is out in the world, and this is what it looks like. It is currently sending the tweet. You'll notice that my Twitter looks slightly different this week. See, I can undo this. There's an undo button that normally folks don't get. So I had to go the Mallory route and pay for Twitter special, Twitter Blue.
Ooh.
So I now have extra features.
Look at you go.
Because now I can edit. I can edit tweets. So I want to
because you never make mistakes.
So there's a thing I'm going to do right here. It says pin to your profile.
Yep.
Oh no, I am the king of making mistakes. So now I have an hour after I send a tweet. I have an hour to edit it, Kevin.
Oh wow.
That is so anyway, this is our current live show. I have just pinned it to my profile. So it will be, if you go to my profile on Twitter, this will be the very first tweet that you see. It's us currently live right here, right now. And nobody is watching. Oh, no, 2 people are watching on Twitter right now. Isn't that nice? Hello, people
That
watching
little
on
rodent's
Twitter.
in there. Hello, little rodent.
Could be that is how Phil watches the show without actually coming into the chat room. That could very well be.
I love him way more than you.
Well, I imagine you're a rat lover.
That's right.
So here's the tweet that I just sent with the link to the show. So now it shows there's the YouTube link right to the show. It gives you a little preview, yada yada yada. So
and
that's
if you
kind of
don't know
basic.
if you don't know who I am, you can hover over me and it'll show you.
Yeah. So if you scroll down to a tweet that has somebody's handle in it, there it goes. Boom. And I guess I'm following this guy because it says I'm following him.
So is Steve Vapes. Look at that.
Yep. So, for example, if you wanted to find somebody, if you didn't know what their @ was, so for example, I kind of know. Look, we're gonna look at Addy. So we go Addy.
There we go.
Now, Addy's gonna come up on the top, like the real Addy Tooney is gonna come up right there on the top because we already follow each other. So
yes,
he's prioritized on my list. So if you click on Addy's profile, you can see there's a little picture of Addy's face. Yes, it gives you a little bit of a bio about Addy, and then you can see some of the tweets that Addy has been retweeting or tweeting. So this is a good thing I can show people. So Dr. Tedros is our arch enemy number 1 this week and last week and every other week. So Addy retweeted Respect Vapors comment about blah, blah, blah. So I go over here because I know Addy is a smart guy and I don't have time to sit here and read everything that Addy tweets. I'm going to hit like and I'm just going to retweet. Boom. So now everybody that follows me will now see the retweet that I just retweeted from Addy. Now, if I go to Charles, we know Charles. Charles has been on the show. We love Charles. We're going to like his tweet or his Addy's retweet of Charles. And then we're going to retweet it ourselves. And then Andrew Montague, we like him. So we're going to like that. We're going to retweet that. Boom. And you can do this to everybody that you are following, or anybody in general. You don't have to follow them, but you have to find them.
Right.
So this is the lovely Kelly Ann, who was on the show last week. Addy's retweeting Kelly Ann's stuff. So we like her stuff. So we're going to retweet that. Yes, I actually have video. I have video of Charles saying he doesn't like us, Steve. Thanks for reminding. Thanks for picking at that scab.
Dr. Gardner.
Yeah. So that's Addy's profile. I don't know why Harrison Ford is showing up on my thing, but okay.
Where's Michael? Where's Michael at? Can you find him?
What, Redfern?
Yeah.
Michael Redfern? He's in the chat room right there. I don't even have to look very hard. He's right there. I mean, you asked me where he's at. He's right there in the chat room. So he's right here. This is his profile. He's got some hopped up picture of him pretending to be a DJ over here. There is a link to his SoundCloud. He says that he's a musician. I don't know. It says he's a mechanic and a musician. So, but there is a link to his SoundCloud. Maybe later on we'll go to his SoundCloud and chill out to whatever it is he's doing.
He's been around since
he's retweeted me. So Mike has already retweeted me. Look at that. Mike is on the ball here. And then you've retweeted me. And he's retweeted you. So this is just a circle jerk. This is a hey, Victor Altec is in the chat room, Kevin.
Good evening, Victor.
So Victor has or not Victor. Michael has retweeted Richard, our very good friend Richard Pruin. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna retweet his retweet. We're just gonna scroll down a little bit and show him some retweet level. Oh, there's your rodent friend, Phil, Kevin.
Oh,
so we're gonna retweet that.
You
Hey,
see
there's
Son of
our
Vapor
other
too.
brother from another mother, Fig. Have you noticed that
that
Fig's like
hair bud.
replaced his profile picture with like a 25-year-old picture that he's only 25 in? You see that?
Kind of creeping back in, isn't he?
Yeah, do you see that? Yeah, but this is Clive. This is Fig is retweeting Clive, or actually tweeting Clive video. So we're gonna. So these are all just basics. Like you can retweet people. You don't even have to create your own tweets. Really, you could just
That's
retweet people. And
Right.
but I already showed you a basic tweet at the very beginning. So you can tweet links to articles. You can go to your browser, find an article that you like. You can copy that URL, and then go into tweet, write a tweet. I just read this awesome article. Cut and paste the link to the URL, and then tweet it. That's how you share a basic, email, or not email, web address. It will populate a preview of the tweet, and that's simple stuff. But I mean, obviously, if you want to, you could actually live stream video like we're doing right now on Twitter.
Yeah.
With your phone, you can go live. They also have Twitter Spaces. That's more of an advanced deal. You do that on your phone. You can't actually. It annoys me that you can't actually do a Twitter Space from your desktop. That kind of annoys me, Kevin. But if, for example, you're like me and you have an extensive library of videos that you would like to share, this is something that the person that we were talking about last week did not know that you could do this. So you go to your hard drive, you find your video, and you go and you drop it in your Twitter, in your tweet.
And there you
So
go.
this happens to be a video
Look at
of
him
David
chuckle
Gerlitz.
Look at him chuckling.
Our very good friend David Gerlitz. Now, for those of you that aren't paying $11 a month so that you can be special, you can only tweet a video that is 2 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Yeah.
So there is a limit until Elon changes that. But if you pay the $11 a month, like Mallory and me, you can tweet longer videos. And you can use more words because regular Twitter has a limit on the number of characters that you can put in a tweet. Are you
It's
aware
a mini
of that?
blog. That's what
Yes,
it is.
it's a very, very tiny thing. So I'm just gonna tweet this video of David Gerlitz. This is actually a longer clip of David on our show telling his story as the Winston man. Most of you have already seen it, but it's good to remind people of these awesome stories of our friends. So we'll say so. This is at David. There he is, right here. Gerlitz. I haven't seen David Forsyth in a while.
I haven't either, actually.
I typed in David, and David Forsyth showed up. I haven't seen him in a while. He was the stepfather of the guys that owned Ripe Vape, which was a really good company. And he was working really hard on their PMTAs. I feel bad that nobody that's put one in is going to get one out. But
Well, they approved 26, right? They approved 26, but not.
Yeah, but
Oh.
26 made by Big Tobacco and
Yeah.
26 closed systems. No, not 26 refillables or not 26 e-liquids. 26.
Isn't that ironic? All these people kept saying we don't want Big Tobacco, and then guess what?
Yeah, Michael Redfern's actually
23.
correcting us. He says 23.
Good enough, 23.
I actually think Michael's smarter than you, so I'm gonna
Oh well, yeah.
I'm gonna go with his number.
Everybody's smarter than me.
Let's see. He
My
won
grandson's smarter than me.
an award. An award
Don't forget to tag them.
from what? At WHO for his heroic efforts to drag big tobacco into the light.
Testified in court, and
He
Congress.
he was there. What's the word I want to use?
ERE.
Poster boy
Oh,
until he discovered hashtags. Now, hashtag is another thing. So you see that I just put the little check, the numeric sign there, the number sign. That's also called a hashtag. So if you put a hashtag, and I'm going to use tobacco harm reduction, and then hashtag vaping. Now he is persona non grata and banned from any of their what do we? I don't want to call them meetings. I guess you call them meetings, but he's banned. Like they banned him from the entire country. They were meeting in India, and they got he had papers so that he could go there, and they went to the government of India and said, cancel his papers. He's not allowed to come.
Yep.
Not even into the same country.
Because of his ID.
Yeah.
They said his ID didn't match correctly. Didn't look like him. Bastards in the room. Hashtags, folks, while he's typing.
Yes. Now, hashtags are also searchable.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
If you click on a hashtag, you can see them all being used.
So,
in what way they're being used?
You see down here, there's a little counter. It says 9.
Yep.
I actually still have 9 more letters that I could type in there before I go past the allotted number of characters. Now, since I paid extra this month, I just paid yesterday so that I would have it to show you that if you wanted to pay the $11, you could do that. So right now, the only benefit that I'm getting out of paying the $11 this month is that I can fix my typos up to an hour after I tweet. I can tweet longer videos. And apparently, if you get enough people following you and you're a paid provider, they actually will promote your tweets.
Ooh. And
if you get enough providers, you can actually monetize your Twitter. I don't know that I need to do that, but if they wanted to throw commercials into any of my videos and I could make 5 cents or something, that would be okay. I wouldn't complain, right?
Yeah.
But so this is the tweet. There's the video of David Gerlitz telling his story about going from being a spokesman for Winston to an ambassador against smoking and a whistleblower to winning awards, to him finding vaping and his brother dying and him finding vaping and going on to return his award and being banished. And now he is persona non grata. And he's a very good friend of ours.
Yes.
So I send the tweet. Boom, that's the tweet. So that was one of the things that the person that we were talking about said was they didn't know that you could drop video right in there, like video clips. So boom, there's an example of using a video. Obviously, if you wanted to follow the rules and use a 2-minute video, we could do that as well. But you get the idea. I mean, this is how you formulate a tweet. You make your few sentences of information. If you wanted to put an article, you just click a link to the article in there, or copy and paste a link to the article in there. Or a video, you can drag and drop a video. Boom. See, I made him big screen. There he is. Boom. So,
and as a side note, if you're reading an article, at the bottom of the article, more than likely at the top as well, there are icons for Twitter, Facebook, etc. You can share those directly I think you have to be signed in, or it'll sign you in.
Oh no, if you're on the website.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Right. Shareable.
Sometimes that is true.
It'll go the way they want you to have it displayed. You can edit it once you're there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it.
I prefer to link it rather than use that.
I do. And if I used to be, you could use an URL shortener to shorten the URLs to not use up all of your characters. But then, like a year ago, they actually removed like any links that you paste in there do not go against your total. So, okay, some of those links are very long, and since Google no longer uses their URL shortener, it's that was the one I used.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that I let me see it. Is Phil actually tweeting right now?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
I don't know.
His most recent tweet was 41 minutes ago. So he may not be awake yet, or he may be too busy watching us to create tweets. So what else can you do with Twitter, Kevin, that
you can
you can do polls and stuff. I've never done those, but you could do a poll.
Do polls. Yeah, I did one this week. You can attach photos if you like. Now
that's the same method that you would use your for the video. You could just drag and drop. If you're on your phone, you can hit the little photo icon and go through your photo menu on your phone, your gallery, and pick the pictures that you want. Up to 4 photographs per tweet.
Right. You can use the little icons or whatever you call those. Emojis, emojis, whatever the fuck you call them.
Emojis, yeah, you can do those. I don't ever use those, but you can.
Etc. I use them on occasion, not always.
Etc.
Huh? What? You can tag your location. You can make a schedule, which I've never done. You can schedule.
You can use Twitter to schedule tweets, or you can use an app called Hootsuite. That will allow you to do that as well, and you can schedule them up to a month on Hootsuite. I had it, but I stopped using it.
I did too. I was putting them on the different vaping links, and nobody followed it. Nobody cared, So
yeah,
I just stopped after a while.
Oh, yes, I can, Addie. Thank you for asking. Let me go over here again. I will present my screen. I will share my screen.
Overtweet Phil. Quote tweet Phil.
Well,
Kevin's favorite rodent.
Well, there's Charlie.
All right.
Let's scroll down.
Phil can't be far behind.
Yeah, that's not a vaping one. Juka. Despite the fact that Law 315 prohibits the sale and distribution of electronic cigarettes and other non-combustible devices, these products remain widely available, easily accessible, and their demand continues to grow in Panama. So he's retweeting one of our Panamanian friends.
Yeah. Go down. Go to him. Go to him for a second. Go to the gentleman that he tweeted. Marsico.
Marco?
Marco.
Marco.
Yeah. Click on that. Click on that tweet. See the
click on
words
Marco's...
translate tweet below.
Oh yes, that's a button right there.
That's a very important thing.
If you open a tweet that is not in your native language, you can hit the translate button, and it says 200,000 users declare to use electronic cigarettes in Panama. Prohibition has created a black market.
You'll find that translate tweet will bring you more friends because not everybody speaks the English language, right. Obviously.
So we're gonna quote tweet our Panamanian friend, and we're gonna talk about let's see. Let's quote tweet, not over tweet like Kevin likes to say. Let's see. And I'm gonna use a quote here. War on drugs style methodology, not style.
There you go.
Method. I have a second camera that's right in front of my face.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this monitor, and there's a freaking boom arm with another camera that points down at the desk. Public health. We're gonna use another hashtag so that we can draw attention. So hashtags are one of those things. You can search them. You can subscribe to hashtags. You can do all sorts of things with hashtags. And any tweet that uses a hashtag that you follow will appear on your Twitter feed so that you can see it. If you follow certain topics. Here.
You can mute, block, and see hidden tweets, Mr. Tottenham. Yes.
Yes, you can. You can mute people. You can block people. And yes, you can see hidden tweets. There are methods for all of those things. We can show those as well.
And you can go incognito if you have to. if you are blocked. Our fight is in the same language, no matter where you are.
Yep.
Any language, any country. Bastards. All four corners of the earth. Around the globe.
Mm. So, no, this is harm magnification or harm. If we're talking about harm reduction, harm. What would be the opposite of harm reduction, Kevin?
Harm. Hurt. Harm promotion.
So these same public health warriors. So these are words that some people like to refer to themselves as that are promoting people continuing to smoke because they don't want them to choose a less harmful product. We call them so-called public health warriors.
I call them other things.
No, we call it yes, but idiots,
On the list.
liars. So
Kumquats is one of the words.
yeah.
Among other
So
things.
I wonder if we do a so that is a quote tweet per
That's right.
Addie's
Are you before you hit the tweet, before you hit it, are you actually following Marco?
No, I am not.
So you could right there, so everybody can see whether you end up doing so.
Not in this window. You can't.
Oh, you can. I thought you could.
Not from the composition. You actually have to send the tweet.
All right.
And then I can go back to here.
And you can see if you are or not. And then, that will get you a follow usually. Usually. Not always.
Maybe. But we did over tweet him. So he or quote tweet him. See, now I'm using your stupid words. So that is a quote tweet. Now
you're part of the Twitterati.
Now I have never ever blocked anyone. Now I have muted people.
You can block and then unblock somebody. You can go to me if you want to. Go to me and block me for a minute. That'll make you feel better and it'll be enjoyable. I don't want you blocking somebody else.
Well, I was going to go block somebody I don't like, but so you can go here.
So you can turn off retweets. You can do all kinds of stuff.
So I can mute him.
Yep.
I can remove him as one of my followers, or I can block him. I've never blocked anybody. I have muted somebody for like 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever.
I muted the warrior.
Yes, you do have to mute people that like I'm not following him now.
It's literally
I've never followed him, but now the only time anybody sees anytime I see him is when one of our friends decides to share one of his tweets.
Yeah. Now, Michael says he blocks people, but only if they suck. And I'm with Michael. I have blocked a few, including vapors, honestly, because they're idiots. Now,
oh no, there are some people that I would like to.
If I'm following you and you're following me and we're pals, that's great. But if you're just being stupid, even Kevin doesn't have patience for stupidity. If you're not helping, that's all.
Well,
I don't tell you, I just do it, and that's it.
You know what's really funny is like in our space, in the tobacco harm reduction public health space.
Yeah.
The number of people that have actually blocked me in that space is relatively small.
Right.
But in my other world, in my geek world, I have been blocked by some very prominent comic book artists because I've blasted them for pushing an agenda, for being assholes. Like they apparently are very fragile, which is really weird. But yeah, I think I'm blocked by like 25 different very, very ultra liberal comic book artists.
Yeah. So I'm not hurt. My feelings don't get hurt. That's what feelings are for. But if you're going to block me, that's great. If you tell me, I was told by somebody that I was over the top because I told the WHO in 2014 or something that they could come have coffee and talk about this. And it wasn't really a weird tweet, but his was. Now, I think he blocked me. He told me he was unfollowing me. I don't know. And then he followed me back later on. So whatever, who cares? I really don't give a shit. But right, Michael, if it's not common sense, I have fun and I get a little rough, but I'm not trying to be, cussing and screaming and yelling and hollering nonsense mostly. Mm-hmm. And when there's one, and I can't remember what I'm thinking of at the moment. I spoke with someone else about this person who created another account because I think they were suspended, and then they were back in it, and they were just, fuck this and fuck that and fuck you and fuck whatever. No, you don't need that. That's not how we win anything. We're not winning anyway. It makes it look stupider when we do that. We have a good enough time looking dumb. Look at me. So there you go.
So okay, so let's present again. I'm going to go back to the rodents profile.
We should send him some veggies. Does he like veggies? Do they like veggies?
I don't know. He's a rodent. I'm sure they eat anything.
Troop.
Did you see Troop sneak in?
Troop just
he said that you're too honest. That you're honest.
Oh, I'm brutal.
So if you want to see a plethora, a full cornucopia of data sets of stuff on harm reduction, as well as the thing that we can't talk about on the show.
Yes.
Phil has that information.
He should have 6 degrees by now.
So I'm gonna scroll now. There will be some tweets that I have to scroll by really fast because they have to do with that thing, and I don't want to get dinged on the thing.
You know what you could do? You could go to, instead of his tweets, his replies, because sometimes you don't see the tweet because he's just replying.
Okay,
and those are usually better.
This is another feature of the app that we haven't talked about. So on his feed, you will see his tweets. And then here are his replies. These are replies that he has made to other people's tweets.
Yeah.
So obviously there's that thing that we can't talk about.
Don't say
We're
it.
going to go right past that. He's retweeted me. There again, there's that thing that we can't talk about. There's a thing we can't talk about.
There's a few. You see the number though, 7,000.
He's like a dog with a why
don't you follow
a chewy bone. Like he's just chewing on that. There he is again with the thing that I can't talk about.
Yeah.
Come on, Phil.
Just page down. Maybe it wasn't as good an idea.
No. You're trying to get me banned on for the thing.
Well, go to Southern Vapor, go to Mallory, go to Lance. There's one. Oh, nope.
No, because if I scroll down, it's going to have that word that I can't show on the screen, or I'll get banned.
Yeah.
I was supposed to set up Rumble this week, and I didn't get a chance. You have to go and create your channel on Rumble. And you can't live stream to it until you have 5 followers. So I have to go create the page.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll let me upload a couple videos, and then I will share the link to the Rumble on Twitter so that people can go follow. Once I get 5 followers, then I can stream there.
All right.
Who did you say? Mallory?
Charles. Mallory, Southern Vapor, Charles. I mean, you can think for yourself. You're allowed.
There's Mallory. We'll go to Mallory.
Yep.
Mallory's here.
She's here somewhere.
All right. So Mallory says that she was born in 1978. She's a youngster, raised in Texas, but now she lives in some crappy Chirac. And then she's an awesome what? Chirac? I can say Chirac. Oh, so there she's retweeting me. She's retweeting me.
Did you just go to her tweets?
Hey,
it's good enough. It's good enough.
This is her. Well, no, I want to go to her tweet. I want to find one of hers. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong, like I said, with retweeting other people.
Not at all.
At all. There's this trap.
Not at all. If you ain't got nothing to say, just retweet. That's all. It's all right.
Oh, but I know that she replies a whole bunch.
It's all right.
So let's scroll back up to the replies.
Yeah.
Yeah, replies. Boom. Now we're gonna get some awesome words. Okay.
Look at right there. Just look at it right there.
With a pin tweet?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a tweet from February of 2022. This is an old tweet.
So.
I want a new tweet, Kevin. Or a new reply, at least.
It's a trap.
Come on, Mallory. There.
Bam.
All right, so Dudja says, "Oh, there's fluffer nutters." All right, let's just keep scrolling. Mallory. There. All right. So, campaign for tobacco-free kids. These are our not friends. We couldn't agree more. U.S. mayors. Preemption laws are a major big tobacco tactic to block localities from enacting strong policies to protect kids and save lives from tobacco. So a quick word on preemption. This is a legislative issue. State legislatures do not like it when each little city or county has different laws than them. So preemption is a way to prevent there being 100 islands in a state. So if the tobacco age is 21, they will put language in there that prevents localities from making it lower than 21. Or if a state says we're going to allow there to be flavors, for example, no flavors, for example, let's say no flavors. Then cities cannot make a less restrictive law. They can make a more restrictive law, but they cannot make a less restrictive law.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
Michael has a good question. You're not blocked from tobacco-free kids, you bastard.
I am not.
Jesus. You're not doing enough.
That's what I said. I have blasted them. I have said some really, but as long as I don't use foul words, apparently they don't block me. So it took me forever to get Simon Chapman to block me. I've done everything possible to get that guy from Australia that we were, the public health warrior guy, to block me. He won't block me. I pulled the Surgeon General of America's pants down on Twitter and embarrassed him immensely, and he didn't even block me.
Gottlieb blocked me because I said it was amazing you could tweet with one thumb. You can take what you want from there.
So they're saying that preemption, which is a tool that legislatures use to limit stupid laws, is a big tobacco tactic. So
it's also an anti-tobacco tactic.
Yeah. So as long as you're not a nicotine vapor, your rights are not protected because you stopped smoking cigarettes.
There you go. That's beautiful.
Yes. So we could just retweet her quote or her reply because it's a beautiful sentiment.
Sometimes they stand on their own.
And you don't have to do anything.
Right.
Why are you echoing, Kevin?
Why do I know? Because I'm in my basement.
I don't know. Somebody just said, there are two people just said that you started echoing. Steve and Michael both.
Twitter and StreamYard are the only two things I have up.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I was sharing a screen. Did it go away?
Dude. Hey, my grandson beat me at you take the little cards, you flip them over and you match them. I don't know what it's called, but he beat the hell out of me. I got 3 and he got like 100.
What?
And he was bragging.
What game?
I don't know. You take the cards and you put them face down.
Oh.
And you got to pick one. It was a bad.
You got to match.
Yeah.
You got to match them. I think that's just called match game or something.
I don't know. He beat the crap out of me though. Funny memory. There you go. So yeah, sometimes I will skip on occasion. At times I just retweet because it's nothing more needs to be said. Other times I want to be a smart ass. Other times I want you to pay attention. So Clive did one last week. I think it was Clive. You, and you, and you, and you. And I had the little finger pointing thing. And I don't care about retweeting me. I care about you reading that tweet. Don't worry about my tweet. Go to their tweet. That's why I bring attention to it. Most of the time. So
good or bad. That's kind of just a very quick summary of some of the things that you can do on Twitter.
You can be the Twitterati.
And literally, if you ask yourself, well, can I do this? More than likely, Twitter does it. You just have to figure out how to do it. And
video, pictures.
Elon is trying to expand the footprint of Twitter. So he's adding more features all the time. His plan is to rebrand Twitter to I think it's just called X, the Everything app, and it's gonna be Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter sort of all in one. It's gonna be the only place you ever have to go. Like even Instagram, you don't. Which I like because I don't use Facebook anymore. I gave up on Instagram. Twitter is the only place that I'm on social media anymore. I mean, I have a page on a personal page on Facebook that I will post a photograph of food periodically, but that's about it.
Food's good. Food is good.
I Twitter. Everybody says that Twitter is like a cesspool, that Twitter's an evil place to be, but I found that Facebook was way more deleterious to my sanity than Facebook or the Twitter is.
Well, you can find yourself in silly things sometimes with Twitter, but I think it's easier to block or ignore, mute, / whatever. You can bring awareness to different there are other topics besides vaping. Believe it or not, folks, there are other topics.
Yeah.
I will peruse other things, but I don't really tweet much about it.
If you only have one thing that you're interested in, you look very one-dimensional.
Well, so, some public health warriors are.
If you go to my Twitter feed, there's comic book stuff on there. There's nerdy movie stuff on there. There's vaping and tobacco harm reduction and drug policy and all sorts of stuff on there.
Yep.
So, I like this. Michael Redfern says my journal would say, "I want a cigarette. I want a cigarette. I want a cigarette." And believe it or not, Kevin, I have actually really craved a cigarette this week.
Have you?
I was like, it wouldn't hurt anybody if I went to the store and bought a pack of cigarettes.
Peg, hi, honey, and I don't know that it'll do the part.
I don't know that
because I am a bot, by the way. Yes. You can be assured that I don't know about that specifically. You can schedule tweets, and the Hootsuite that Patrick mentioned earlier is good, but you still have to enter your tweet, put it for 2:00 or whatever time it is. But I do not know about liking.
Yeah, I don't think it'll just go down your Twitter feed.
It probably is one, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I don't know. Bubba Dog says that Elon is also talking about a pay app. Well, I do know that he has already said that he plans on monetizing Twitter.
Yeah.
So that people can subscribe to your feed and your followers. You can send out tweets specifically to only your paid followers, and then you'll have a general outbox that will go to everyone. That you'll be able to monetize your video content. That's why Tucker Carlson has started broadcasting since he got fired from Fox. He is now not exclusively, but he's now broadcasting on Twitter. he's a couple years behind me because I've been broadcasting live on Twitter for years.
Yeah. I hope so, Michael.
The interface to actually watch the show on Twitter used to be a different app, but now it's right on Twitter. You can open the video screen and watch the video. But I don't know how comfortable the interface is to like communicate with people that you're watching with. But supposedly he's going to make that more robust. So,
latest announcement, by the way. My son messaged me, showed me it's very similar to or a knockoff of, or I don't know who's the knockoff anymore, of an Elf bar. And he had 4 cigarettes yesterday, 6 today, but he likes it. So suddenly, all of a sudden, out of the blue, there you go.
Well, the thing is the number one predictor of whether somebody is going to be successful in a quit attempt is the desire to quit.
Doesn't matter who I am. He didn't want to. Right. Exactly. Which was okay. So, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. If you or I or anybody else tries to push somebody the direction we want them to go,
nope.
The odds are that they're gonna push a different direction. So
yeah,
I mean, we are a stubborn species, and if somebody says we have to do something, we're not going to do it. And if somebody says you're forbidden from doing something, we're going to do that thing. So
I'm finishing up my contract with you. I've got 4 years, 9 months, 14 days, and 3 hours. So there you
go. Well, if we survive another 4 years,
but I'm not being told what to do.
Yeah. So speaking of bad behavior, Kevin.
Is there some? Oh.
You'll love this. You'll love this. This was a story this week, and it was on multiple.
We left each other alone.
It was on multiple news sites this week, but this was the first one that I saw. It was on CNN. So
we didn't message each other this week at all, did we?
I did add links to the thing this week.
Okay, then
you just didn't read them. Right. So this is from the Alaska Commons, and it says that vaping contributes to a huge increase in bad behavior on planes.
Already been debunked, but go ahead.
So it says here, there was hope that when the mask mandates on planes ended and people got back into the habit of traveling, passenger behavior would improve. Maybe all those mid-air altercations, diverted flights, and abuse and harassment of flight attendants would go away. That dream is gone. The aviation body recorded a 37% year-on-year increase, with the most common types of incidents involving non-compliance, verbal abuse, and intoxication. Smoking cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vapes, and inhalation devices in the cabin or lavatories was the number one non-compliance issue highlighted by the IATA, followed by not wearing seatbelts when directed, extending the number of baggage allowances, carry-ons, or not storing luggage when necessary, and the consumption of bringing your own booze on the plane. Well, if your damn drinks were $8 a piece.
I like these people. So far, I'm in.
Physical abuse increases. In 2022, there was one incident of indiscipline for every 568 flights, compared to one for every 835 flights in 2021. This year may not be any better either, Kevin. What?
Do you think it might be because there's more people flying now than there was last year and the year before?
There are definitely more flights.
It's all in the wording.
We did have this thing that we can't talk about on the air.
All I know is there's
over a 2 or 3 year period.
It's fuzzy math. I don't give a fuck what they say. I don't care.
On Sunday, the day the report was released, a flight from Paris to the United States was diverted to Canada due to a disruption allegedly caused by an inebriated male passenger. Incidents of physical abuse remain thankfully rare, but they registered a worrying 61% increase in 2021 compared to 2022 compared to 2021. They only occurred on 1 in 17,200 flights.
Yeah.
In U.S. skies, 2021 was the worst year on record for air passenger misbehavior, according to the data from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. And in 2022, there was a decline. However, IATA's analysis offers a panoramic view with data cross-referenced by more than 20,000 reports submitted by some 40 airlines. See, Kevin, when I'm on a plane, I'm worried about getting where I need to go without dying.
Yes, that's the only thing I would have worried about. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that you're a chicken shit and you won't fly.
I've flown.
But the
4
last
times.
thing I want to do is piss off the stewardess or flight
Yeah, you don't
attendant
do
or
that.
whatever
Don't do that.
because
You don't piss off the nurses and you don't piss off the flight attendants.
they could piss in your drink. They could, skip you. They could wait
Shove
until
you out the door.
They could keep the fasten seatbelt sign on the entire flight and you can't get up and go pee. All sorts of stuff. So I notice a lot of this is not, I mean, some of it is vaping, obviously, but being
Unrelated.
inebriated is definitely not.
I'm just thinking how many more children were flying in the past year? Jesus, because they're all vaping,
It's all the Karens, Kevin.
Zip tie you. They zipped. Oh, yeah.
It's all the Karens. It's all the Karens. Just saying. All these self-entitled
twits
people that are not
twits.
In touch with the real world.
Kumquats. Yeah.
I'm trying to be,
Kumquats is
Gen Z people who think that they're special because their mommy and daddy never beat their asses. Now I sound like that old man. You kids get off my yard.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, the for every excellent child there is now, there's like 10 like rotten, lazy, self-righteous people that have no touch. They're not in touch with reality.
No.
So and the other thing is I did watch a video this week that from a flight attendant who said to people, please stop taking your shoes off on the plane because they don't actually clean the plane very good in between flights.
Well, no.
That wet spot on the floor may not be something you want to step in. That thing on the floor is something that you definitely probably don't want to be soaking into your socks. All right, let's see.
Oh my God.
Where did it go? There it is right there.
And Kasai refuted that, by the way.
What?
The flight plane bullshit story. There was an article Kasai put out.
I would just say that overall, people in general are rotten human beings these days compared to the past.
Yes.
Okay, so here, this is a video. This was posted on the YouTube channel of, it's the Anatomy and Physiology Association, American Institute of Human Anatomy, is what this is. This is from, and it's a long video. It's pretty long, but we're gonna skip the first 14 minutes or so. But I'm gonna open it anyway.
Yep.
Controversial topic and even confusing at times. Now we actually did
Is that roboting?
And questions came up. So in today's video, we're gonna.
That sucker was roboting really bad for me.
Yes, it was.
Okay, let me start over. Let's see if it does it again.
Vaping can be quite the controversial topic and even confusing. We actually.
All right, so this is not going to work. Let's take this down.
Is that my heart?
Remove from studio. Let's just go to the YouTube link.
Oh,
Let's see
Maddie,
if that's any better.
Mallory's premeditated. This idiot is what all I need to know.
All right. Let's make this bigger. I want it to be
Are you
ready. Yeah. Mallory, be nice. What?
I don't know if she meant you, me, or the video.
Mallory's just starting to be mean. All right, so we're going to skip the first 6 minutes and 45 seconds.
All right.
Let's talk about two things. One, how do they compare as far as which is better, which one's worse? And two, is vaping a viable option in order to help one quit smoking? The overall consensus is that vaping is less harmful than traditional cigarettes.
I have that tank. That's like an 8-year-old tank. That looks kind of like an avocado.
As far as which one's better, which one's worse. And two, is vaping a viable option in order to help one quit smoking? The overall consensus is that vaping is less than cigarette smoking. And even though we spent talking about how the product cartridges can have ability in their ingredients, it's still thought that they contain less harmful chemicals and less carcinogens than that which can be found with traditional cigarettes. So does this mean that vape could be used as a viable option to help someone quit smoking traditionally? Well, there are some studies that possibly could be. And
that imply. Now, right after this, Kevin, I'm going to show you a new report that comes out from the U.S. the Journal of Pulmonology.
Fine.
But he says that there are studies that imply.
There have been people that have quit smoking by utilizing vaping, but there are some concerns with this. One of the main hesitations from the medical community of actually labeling vaping as a potential viable option for smoking cessation is that we still don't know.
We don't know, Kevin. We still don't know.
The long-term
Then why are you talking?
Vaping. Yes, we do believe it's less harmful than cigarette smoking, but how much less harmful? We still don't know. There's so much data on traditional cigarette smoking and just not nearly as much with vaping that, frankly, we just need more time.
So he's saying
That's
that
three
we don't
times.
know.
Three
We
times
don't have
he said
enough
that.
data. So let's
You fucking monkey.
let's ban it, block, take it from the market so that we can't ever get that data that they want. So they say they want long-term evidence. They want long-term proof. Now, that's us. We are the long-term proof. I've been vaping for
I'm
is this?
proof, Karen. I'm
2003.
proof.
13 years. 13 years I've been vaping, and my lungs look beautiful.
Karen said I'm proof.
To see
I forget her last name.
Now, to build upon that, many of the critics of saying vaping should be used as a viable option for smoking cessation would say, hey, if there's other effective tools out there to help someone quit smoking that don't involve inhaling a substance, lungs, shouldn't those be considered first? And another concern is that there are people who will attempt to use vaping to quit smoking traditional cigarettes, and it doesn't end up working, and then they end up using both and becoming dual users. Now you could make the argument that vaping or some of that vaping is taking the place of more harmful cigarette smoking, but the whole point of using the vaping in this scenario was to quit smoking cigarettes entirely. So if someone is going to use vaping,
no, because
what?
What?
If the
He's
point
saying
is
the whole
to quit
point
smoking, right? He's missing his point.
But the thing is we are not allowed. Nobody. I mean, we are allowed because we're not in the business. But vaping companies have never been allowed to say that their device helps you quit smoking. It is illegal for a vape company to say that.
My son right now is being a dual user, and there's nothing wrong with that. Period.
No.
And you can
everyone that you don't smoke is a victory. I mean, obviously, the harm is still there. Yeah.
Janine.
Damn it, Addie. Don't get me in trouble. Janine just came in.
Janine.
Vaping to help them quit smoking, then again, the ideal situation would be to go from smoking to vaping to using either one. Now, I have talked to people and even had some patients that have said, I'm going to use vaping, I'm going to keep vaping afterwards. So that brings us to this next point of if people want to continue to vape or still choose to vape after smoking, or maybe they never smoked in the first place and just want to continue vaping indefinitely, what are some things that you should consider? First,
Now he's gonna transition here from nicotine vaping without adding any context at all. Because you see down here at the bottom of the screen, the subject matter just changed. Still going to vape,
THC.
more on THC and vitamin E. So without actually making any definitional changes, any contextual changes, he's going to go from people that choose to continue to vape nicotine, but now he's going to move into a different area that has nothing to do with nicotine vaping.
First, using vaping products from reputable companies to help minimize the variability in ingredients, possible contaminants, or harmful chemicals. This also brings us back to vitamin E acetate and THC. And
that has nothing to do with tobacco harm reduction vaping at all. Has everything to do with people wanting to enjoy THC in a different form.
Rightfully so.
Has nothing to do with what he just talked about. He just transitioned to a new topic without drawing a line.
I should probably mention this because some people might be wondering with vitamin. Yeah. Most ingredients
that most often, that always, there is no most often. The vitamin E oil, vitamin E acetate is not compatible with water soluble vaping with nicotine, not in any way, shape, or form.
Are most commonly paired together, which can also when we're trying to tease out what's kind of that is causation with a volley. Could it be possible that if you could get rid of one versus the other, and you would reduce your risk of having lung injury that we talked about earlier? But another thing to consider with THC is that from the perspective of the United States, the majority of states actually have not legalized recreational use of THC. So that could make it very difficult for someone to use a reputable company in, say, a state that has not legalized this substance, and they might be more likely to get their THC-containing products or their vaping products with THC from less than reputable off the street source, which could also increase the risk of possible contaminants or harmful chemicals. But a lot of people don't believe us.
So he actually made one actual logical point, which I just tweeted about there being no such thing as a safe black market. But yeah, that's a 14-minute video, and we just took a chunk right out of the middle. And this is from the Institute of Human Anatomy.
But they don't know enough. But we're going to talk about it for how many minutes? Right.
Yeah. We don't know, Kevin. I'm so tired of hearing we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to flip back. I think it was Michael. I don't know who it was now. I don't see it. That Mallory had enough of their bullshit because she's mean. We were saying
she said, "Oh, this guy."
There's rules to Twitter, to go back to Twitter and life in general, honestly. But if you're having fun, keep going. Also, you should use science of some sort when you're making your point, of course, in links, and do that. If you're aggravated, and I have been aggravated so much that I was like, click, I'm done, and just get off for a couple of days. Don't get back on. and then come back refreshed. Everybody, all of us need a break at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that hasn't said, I've had enough of you fuckers, and walked away for a few minutes. Some people have never come back. So the people
You chased him away, Kevin. You
well,
chased him away.
the people that come back in their life, they know it's important and they do their thing. But yeah, everybody should, if you have to, just remember and recognize, oh shit, I'm over the edge.
So in that video, he talks about if there's something else that's can get people off smoking, shouldn't they try that? So this is from the Pulmonology Advisor.
Oh, looky there.
Vaping more effective than conventional smoking cessation therapies.
Looky there.
Yeah. So the use of electronic cigarettes was associated with a higher level of abstinence from cigarette smoking than the use of non-nicotine e-cigarettes.
How long is it going to take before they can admit this? Is my anger at this point. That's what pisses me off.
So it says here, vaping using nicotine e-cigarettes is more effective for smoking cessation than conventional nicotine replacement behavioral smoking cessation therapies, according to findings published in the American Journal of Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators conducted a systemic review of meta-analysis to determine how the safety and efficacy of vaping, with both nicotine and non-nicotine e-cigarettes, compared with that of conventional strategies for smoking cessation. A primary outcome was how nicotine e-cigarettes compared with non-e-cigarette smoking cessation therapies with respect to continuous abstinence from conventional cigarettes at 12 months, continuous abstinence at 6 months, point prevalent abstinence at 12 months, and point prevalence abstinence at 6 months. Change in daily cigarette consumption from baseline to 6 months to 12 months, and the longest available follow-up were secondary outcomes. So they used Cochrane, Central, Embase, and Medline databases from inception to January of 2022 for randomized controlled trials published between 2013 and 2020, comparing the use of either nicotine or non-nicotine e-cigarettes with any conventional cessation therapy, including behavioral counseling alone, gum, nicotine patches, and other nicotine replacement products.
Wow. This is... I'm not fond of the meta-analysis crap because that's what Glance does. But this is
they did a 7 years of data.
That's
7
pretty
years
fucking good.
Studies. So they found 5 studies, 3 with low risk of bias, 1 with high risk of bias, with follow-up lasting for at least 22 weeks. So it was a half a year, and 1 trial reporting 1 year of follow-up data. Among individuals attempting to quit smoking, nicotine cigarettes are more efficacious than conventional nicotine replacement or behavioral smoking cessation therapies and may prove beneficial in reducing smoking-related health risks. Included RCTs involved adults who currently smoked, had at least one biochemically validated outcome of interest, and had a treatment period of at least 10 weeks. E-cigarette nicotine concentration in treatment arms range from 8 milligram to 18 milligram.
Okay.
The pooled trial included 3,253 adults. 58% were women, with the median age between 41 and 52 years, with 426 individuals using nicotine e-cigarettes, 769 using non-nicotine e-cigarettes, and 1,058 using conventional smoking cessation therapies. 58% women, mean medium age of 41 to 42, mean smoking history duration 22 to 35 years, somewhere around 17 and a half cigarettes a day, a pack a day almost. Participants had a mean smoking history of 22 to 35 years. Why did they repeat that sentence twice? And 32 to 52% had additional individuals who smoked in their households.
Ah,
Investigators found that use of nicotine e-cigarettes was associated with increased abstinence as defined by the most rigorous abstinence criterion versus conventional smoking cessation therapies relative risk 1.77 or 95%, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, compared with non-nicotine e-cigarettes, the use of nicotine e-cigarettes increased abstinence. Compared with conventional smoking cessation therapies, non-nicotine cigarettes increased abstinence by 95%. At maximum follow-up, all trials reported low incidence of severe adverse effects. So there we go, Kevin.
so this is a great example because I'm gonna hover on the Twitter. So we have confirmation bias. This is what we want to hear, right?
Yeah.
So that proves me right? Okay, so if you have somebody like Chimpman, for example, who says it doesn't help you quit, you can then say, okay, you don't have to prove me wrong, prove yourself right. I like using those words sometimes, psychological or whatever, but when you say, can you prove these people wrong, and then you never get a response, it doesn't mean you've won. It means that other people that are following can go, ooh, well, that's the RCT. That's what we want. That's the gold standard, allegedly, right? These are a combination of. Those are the things we use when we talk about this crap. So instead of proving yourself right, let them prove themselves right. It's less stressful to me. Are you going to do this? I don't like you anyway, so it's a trap. You should take Clive right there and highlight that. Uh-oh. Oh, thanks for coming, folks. Patrick's on a rant. Oh, you're going to link that, aren't you? You sneaky bastard. You sneaky bastard. And Michael, I saw your comment. Where did it go? I tried that, didn't work. I know. Sometimes I'm there and it's the same for me, but on with it.
What is this? This is the pulmonology advisor.
Yes, Mallory. Are they wrong? Are these people wrong? Can you show me where they're wrong?
My fingers, my keyboard, I think my Bluetooth keyboard, the battery is dying.
And Twitter on your phone is different than Twitter on your computer. That's something quite some time ago. I had trouble showing people things that were on phones. I still have a regular old plain desktop. I do use the phone on occasion, but I have a lot more mistakes. Because this is, and you guys can laugh all you want to, this is how I tweet if I'm on my phone. I go like this. That's what I do because I don't know how to do all that bullshit. Well, Patrick's over there being a smarty pants.
Well, I want to make sure that I don't lie. The American Journal of Medicine.
No, don't lie. Don't lie.
The
There's no sense in lying.
American Journal of Medicine. So I go back over here.
Yeah. Are you going to use you bastard? I'd use you bastard. Body bags.
No.
Body bags. Remember the body bags? Body bags. Body bags. Janine!
Apparently it's... I was going to tag the American Journal of Medicine, but I don't think.
It's probably some other AJ, whatever. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Janine's in the chat causing trouble. It's hard telling who they are.
I don't like that it's because I got it all jacked up over here. I got it at 200%. That's why.
Ah. See, that's what I like to see. Ask the fucking questions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So, what I want to do, Kevin, is I'm going to do this twofer.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy.
The 1/2? Yeah.
No. I'm going to go copy.
Oh, you're doing something else.
And I'm going to reply.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, since we're back on giving this the Twitter class, since I already replied, now I'm going to quote tweet it, and now all I have to do is do that.
Yeah.
And
that way everybody sees it. Everybody can tell.
I will do this as well. Yes. So now I almost feel bad because I'm calling him stupid, but
At least calling you stupid.
See, I'm not sure you can read a scientific paper or study, Dr. Tedros. So I found a piece published by the Pulmonology Advisor reporting that nicotine vaping was more successful at helping smokers quit. It is sharing data published by the American Journal of Medicine. Are you calling them liars?
Now, you can also say...
Now I called him stupid and a liar.
So you can also use words like, are you sure this is right? Aren't you concerned about people that smoke? Are you aware? You can finagle your own personality in that same thing with anybody. Doesn't matter. And
so no, he's a doctor of public health.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. So now, since we're on the Dr. Tedros thing, if I go over here to, where are my bookmarks?
Up above, or not in there? They're above normal. Yeah. Well, no, they're not. Where are yours at? That's where mine are. You've got articles and verified orgs. I don't have none of that stuff.
Yeah, because I paid for the. I paid for the. I can't have lost my bookmarks. I need those.
Well, go down to your tweet, the top tweet, for a second, and you can show everybody that you can. It doesn't matter what tweet. A little further, so I can see the ratio and all that. Okay, so you can heart your own tweet. You can retweet. You can, where it says 120, you can see how many people have seen it, and you can hit that button. And if you hit that button, you can also bookmark it. You can do other things.
Yeah, but I need to know what happened to my...
I don't know where your bookmarks are.
See, they got monetization down here already.
Yeah.
I was gonna retweet my
Nope.
I was gonna retweet my stuff at him, but I'll do it later. I have to find where the. See, I bought it. I'm just not used to the new layout with the new things because I paid the $11 for this month.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
A character
find it
is
later.
needed between multiple hashtags and a handle. You also can, as far as I know, you can still use a period as well. The period used to let everyone that followed that person see it. I don't know if that does that any longer. But
at the beginning
it's
of a
definitely
tweet, at the beginning of the tweet, if the first thing in your tweet is the @ if you're adding someone,
correct.
you put a period before the @ sign, or it will not hit their feed.
Right.
It doesn't prioritize it that way. So if you're gonna target somebody with the very first, if you're gonna start your tweet with @Dr. Tedros,
he'll
you need
see
to put a
it.
period. Or his
it'll be like a reply. Is if what that does. It will
but
show
it
up
will
on your
not
feed.
be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask where my bookmarks are.
Chapman stole them.
I lost my bookmark. No,
Bastard, he finally got blocked
Elon-
by Chapman. Took him for years.
Elon took my
They're in there somewhere.
bookmarks away. They're in here somewhere.
Your layout's completely different now
Yeah,
than mine. That's all right.
yeah.
You'll
Because I'm
find
special.
it. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. Double plus good.
No, so it would be your period would be before Joe. You don't need to add another period. As long as you have a space between each @ if you're adding multiple people, you don't need to put a period in there. You only need to put a period at the very beginning of the tweet. If
That way everybody
Joe is
sees
the
it.
first person that you're doing.
Right. If you just do @Joe, it will show up on your replies, or it used to. I don't know what it does now.
Yeah, so let's share a screen again. So if I'm gonna send a new tweet, and I'm just gonna go over here and I'm gonna hit tweet.
Yep. Send it to me.
Say @vaping it.
You're a chucklehead.
You are a head.
Chucklehead.
So
And then tweet.
if I put a period here,
Any character, yeah.
then it will populate throughout his following.
Allegedly.
But supposedly.
Do it that way and hit tweet, and then go to your main page. Don't hit your replies. Just go tweet, and then go up to your profile. Just click yourself for a second and see. So now go down, and it is not there. It is in your replies. So if you do it with a period in front, or if you put you can put anything in front of the name, then it will show up on your main feed. So it's in your reply, but it's not in your, I guess, your profile, I guess, for some reason.
Yeah. So now if I
Without
go over
the
here
period.
and I put a period
You can
in
put
here.
the vaping it or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
If I do that and hit tweet,
Yes, sir.
then I go to my profile.
And there it'll be. Ta-da.
There it is.
Ta-da. If you learned anything, that's if you follow
But
somebody
if you're
else-
targeting multiple people, or if you have, yeah. But
Yeah, if you're-
what I'm
okay,
saying, if you're sending this tweet at multiple people, you do not have to put a character in between each one. Just a space.
No. Just space.
And if you're using multiple hashtags, you do not have to put a character before or after them, as long as it's a space. You don't have to put a period. That as far as I'm concerned, or that I know of, this is the only instance where you have to worry about adding a weird period anywhere.
There will be a test, Janine. So when someone follows
me, you will all be required to be more active on Twitter.
When somebody follows me, I don't randomly just click down the line anymore. I look. So if you're someone you're interested in following, or that you do follow and you don't see a whole lot of their tweets, sometimes they're just replying. So two things.
Or they're shadow banned.
Or they could be shadow banned, like Phil was a while back.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, I don't think he knew it, in fact.
He didn't know it until we pointed it out.
If I like Mallory and I don't see any tweets on her main line, I go straight to the replies and go, oh, that's a good one. And then I go from there. If you're following me and you're new, I'll go to your replies to see who you are and how you act more than anything. It doesn't tell me everything, but it gives me an indication of what type of person, tweeter, or whatever you are. So if you're following Patrick and he doesn't do a whole lot of tweeting to begin with, but when you go to the replies, you see all of it. That way you can run down a line and go, I like this guy. I thought he was a chucklehead. And you may
Patrick's
change your
on a
mind.
roll.
Patrick's on a roll.
That's usually what happens, though, is I'll have like a burst of activity on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you know, it'll be awesome. There'll be like 15 or 20 like really biting tweets. And then a month will go by and I won't do anything.
And the best tweets never get seen. I'm telling you, nobody ever sees my good ones.
You have good tweets?
Oh, I don't know. Go down and judge a few. I don't care. Go into my replies though.
Have you been recently drawing arrows and circles and highlights and stuff?
I cannot confirm or deny that because there's a quiz later and we can't, we're not going to let that known.
Yeah.
Be known.
All right. Let's see. What else have we got here? So now we played a video, then we played video shooting down that nonsense. Here, speaking of black markets, the Cato Institute, our very good friends at the Cato Institute.
Thank you, Addie. I can be nice. I have proof.
That's just another crotchety old man agreeing that you're the same as him.
It's open book, Janine.
So the Cato Institute says a new underground market in e-cigarettes will soon begin to flourish in Australia. What do you mean soon?
No. It's always been black market. Is that wrong?
I mean, fairly much.
Am I wrong?
They've got a pretty well exercised black.
Because I'm confused. Is there anything legal except prescription? There's no legal, right? Where's Broody? What is he doing? Sleeping?
Well, I mean, I'm fairly sure that every disposable on the market in Australia is illegal.
I wanted to make sure.
Pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure that the only legal product would be 0 milligram e-liquid that you can buy in a vape shop, where you then have to go to the house and add your own nicotine to it.
Yeah.
And if you do not know what you're doing, Kevin, say, for example, you have been taught how to add nicotine to your e-liquid because you've been making your own.
I do.
I have, like, I've gone to the crazy. I have a scale over here and a calculator, and I know how much by weight
you got a shaker. You got
to
a shaker
add,
thing.
and I have a magnetic stir. And it heats as well, so that it totally emulsifies and adds.
Steve, the black market has a black market.
Yeah. So.
You incorrigible drop bears.
This is a secret double. What's it called?
Yeah, Steve.
Probation. Secret double black market probation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, writing in the Australian journal The Quadrant a year and a half ago, I criticized the Australian government's plan to prohibit residents from purchasing e-cigarettes without first getting a state licensed healthcare practitioner's permission slip. I wrote, it makes no sense to require medical permission slips for consenting adults to ingest nicotine via e-cigarettes when doing so through combustible tobacco requires no such official nod.
Huh.
It makes even less sense when substances of equal or greater addictive potential are legally available without prescription. Perhaps this is due to an irrational zero tolerance stance toward any activity such as vaping that resembles tobacco smoking. No, what it is they haven't yet passed any law where they can actually tax it and make money from it. Then they get permission to do it. So cigarettes are permissible because the government makes, I think in Australia, something like $76 billion a year on cigarettes.
That's a lot.
I think we talked about it on a previous show and we pulled out the numbers and it was something like $76 billion.
Yeah.
So, yes, cigarettes are protected. You don't have to go to a doctor to buy those. You can just go down to the corner dairy or convenience store and buy it, no problemo, because the government is taxing you and essentially saying, you know what? We don't care if you live or die. Though e-cigarettes are now only legal with a prescription in Australia, an essentially illegal and unregulated market has flourished nationwide in tobacco and vape shops. So now the Australian government will double down on its war on vaping. The Australian Parliament is about to pass a ban on importing all non-prescription vaping products, including those that don't contain nicotine. The government will also require makers of an illegal vaping product to make their packages resemble their prescription products and will reduce the colors, flavors, volumes, and nicotine content of prescription e-cigarettes.
That's right.
Again, since as far as I know, there is no legal vaping product sold in Australia that has nicotine already in it.
Yet. At all.
So they keep saying prescription e-cigarettes, but the prescription is not for the e-cigarette. The prescription is to give you permission to import your nicotine.
Right.
As far as I understand it, unless they've changed since we had Senator Holly Hughes on the show from Australia. No product with nicotine in it is legal. You have to buy the product with no nicotine and add your own nicotine. So disposable e-cigarettes that already have nicotine in them, and I have no problem with those products because some people like those products and they do help some people.
Yep.
So my stance is that we should have as many options as possible, and that means that
all of it.
Disposable e-cigarettes have as much value to some people as refillable, tank-based vaping that you can. So this makes it, they're just basically limiting people's choices. And, Kevin and I don't like any government interference that removes our choice.
Leave me alone.
Yes. I thought these a whole island of criminals would be less apt to rolling over and allowing that to happen.
Well,
Troop says, "Are you sure of that?" I just said, as far as I know. That is what the status. That is what status quo was the last I heard.
Right. I
don't live in Australia, but I do have some friends that live there. I think Bastard lives there. Bastard could tell me if I'm wrong.
I'd like to, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. The Australian press reports that wholesale vaping suppliers are urging customers in social media posts and advertisements to stock up before the ban goes into effect, warning that prices are likely to increase in response to a surge in demand. Many have made it clear that they are preparing to take the trade underground. Some have made creative online videos critical of the impending ban, frequently on TikTok. See, I just think vaping people should stay the fuck off of TikTok, because that app is designed for like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds.
Well,
yeah. One innovative video borrows from the film The Wolf of Wall Street with a gif of Leonardo DiCaprio shouting, "I'm not fucking leaving," in response to a caption that states, "When customers ask if we're going to stop selling due to new vape laws." Ironically, unlike policymakers in places like San Francisco and New York State, the Australian government recognizes e-cigarettes as an excellent harm reduction tool. No, they don't. In the Melbourne Herald Sun, Jack Evans writes that Australia's Health Minister Mark Butler emphasized that vaping was initially marketed globally as a therapeutic aid to assist long-term smokers in quitting, but had transformed into a recreational product. Kevin,
what?
do you see that vaping is a recreation for you? It's a hobby?
No, I don't actually. I don't. I can't define it as a hobby. I cannot.
I love the fact.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, no, this guy's just saying that it's meant to be a smoking therapeutic aid to assist long-term smokers in quitting.
No, it's not.
But even if that's the case, if we use that definition that he's providing, I'm doing this so that I don't smoke. So it is therefore a therapeutic aid to keep me from smoking cigarettes.
Right. Because let's just say if you have a heart condition, and I hope you don't, but if you did, you're going to take that medicine until A, you did, B, you're cured. Well, if you're not cured, if it's a disease, you got to keep taking that medication. What he's saying is, we don't like you enjoying yourself. Stop doing that. This is supposed to be a temporary thing. Fuck off. So
it says here, policymakers are disturbed because many people vape for pleasure rather than quitting tobacco.
Yeah, we did.
It is not safe as it is not sold as a recreational product, and in particular, not one for our kids. I don't suggest that kids vape. But if you're banning a product because kids are going to find ways to do the thing that they're not supposed to do, yeah. So it says here, to paraphrase H.L. Mencken. You all know I love H.L. Mencken.
Lord,
my T-shirt, the Skull and Crossbones Scallywag T-shirt actually has this exact quote on the back of it. To paraphrase H.L. Mencken, the Australian health minister has the haunting fear that someone somewhere may be happy.
There you go.
That is right on the back of my T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So their rush to govern people's behavior has done nothing but create a black market, which there is no safe black market, Kevin. There is no such thing as a safe black market. A black market is designed specifically to be risky. They're going to cut corners. They're going to sell you the cheapest available product that they can find, the cheapest option, and sell it to you at a high profit.
Now, Janine, when haven't kids done, whether you guys are moving in, what they're not supposed to do? So when you're 9 years old, like I was, everybody's telling you need to grow up, stop acting like a child. Okay, well, now I'm an adult. Now I'm acting like an adult. Well, now you're mad at me because I'm acting like an adult. You want me to be a child? You want me to be an adult? I think over time, I want to pinpoint at Fig for either giving me that idea or telling me that, or it could have been anybody. There's trouble. There's trouble.
Michelle
so,
Elliott is not trouble. She's a very nice
children
person.
will always and never will it end going to do something they're not supposed to do, including my grandchild. Although he is almost perfect, he's not. None. Zero. Nobody. No child. Ain't met one yet.
I have heard that there was a guy about 2,000 years ago who was supposed to be perfect. He was a very kind person. He fed the poor. He did, he worked miracles, and people got jealous and they nailed him to a piece of wood.
And see how that ends, right?
It didn't turn out well for him.
So
but
I can't.
Supposedly, it turned out well for us. So
I cannot stress enough that children are going to do things that you don't like, and so will adults. So
Kevin does stuff I don't like.
I don't know what you're vaping with, and I don't care. When we were smokers, when I was smoking, person who smokes, if Skip's in the room, my dad and I are driving back from somewhere, and I lit a cigarette because I was already 16. He didn't care. And that said,
when I was 16, my parents bought my cigarettes.
Right. He said, "What are you smoking anyway?" And I said, "Whatever I was smoking." And he said, "Put that thing out here. Have a real cigarette." Now, when you're right, I know you know where I'm going with this, because I use my pink slide. Purposely got the pink one. It's a tribute to Demetrius. And you use whatever the hell you're holding. It doesn't make who gives two shits just because you drink sparkly water and I drink tap water? Who gives two shits? So the children part pisses me off.
I did tweet about tap water this week, but so here, this is proof that overzealous war on drugs tactics does not work. Prohibition does not work. Demonizing, attacking, misinformation, that doesn't work. Look at this.
American ashtrays emptier than ever. Recent data from the CDC showing adults who smoked dropped to 11% in 2022, down from 12.5% in 2020, and way down from the more than 40% of Americans who smoked in the 1960s.
Good.
But now a new danger facing the American public, vaping.
I feel like a lot better now that I'm not vaping, like noticeably better, like my kind of day-to-day life. Like I used to have like phlegm in my throat and constantly getting sick.
Cade Beauparlant vaped for the first time on a sleepover with his friends in the 8th grade.
I mean, when it first came out, everyone was saying it was like a healthy alternative to smoking, which I didn't smoke cigarettes.
Now, I haven't watched this whole thing. I'm wondering if he's going to say he had a spontaneous pneumothorax.
Cigarettes ever, but I don't know. I guess I kind of interpreted it wrong and saw it as like not really being damaging.
But just a few years into vaping, he was diagnosed with a minor lung.
Okay, you see what he's doing there?
There we go. He's double popping, isn't he?
He's not only is he vaping, but he's vaping two devices at the same time. Do you hear him sucking on that? His boyfriend is proud.
Disease, putting his hockey school career in danger.
When I got the lung disease, it was very noticeable, like being on the ice and getting off and constantly like gasping for breath.
Cade managed to quit vaping, but recent CDC data shows e-cigarette use rose to nearly 6% of Americans in 2022, and more than 2.5 million middle and high schoolers reported e-cigarette use. And all that vaping is having serious consequences.
We're seeing new and emerging evidence that there can be kind of longer-term lung damage. The other health problem that we're seeing are damages to their brain, or at least their memory. And
look, if you have an NBC peacock behind you, you're a dumbass.
No, that means that she's a paid contributor for NBC. That's one of those.
If you have, I'm going to repeat that for you. What the fuck is that?
She's on the payroll.
cognition. Then other third area that we're exploring under evidence is just the effect on what I'll call mood disorders. We know that also our young adults and teens are suffering from an incredible amount of anxiety and depression, and that teens who use e-cigarettes or vaping are more likely to have these symptoms be more dramatic.
Where's my data? Where is my data?
Kevin, but we already know that 60% of all cigarettes purchased are purchased by people that suffer from some sort of neurodiversity or mental illness.
Yes.
So they're trying to draw some sort of causal relationship
to twist. They're nipple twisting.
We already know this. This is data that is freely available. The CDC puts it right on their fucking website. They know this information. And these dumb junior college educated doctors
kumquats.
Community urging parents not to turn a blind eye to vaping.
Nicotine, which is that kind of active substance.
Don't turn a blind eye to your children in general.
Oh my God. Active substance.
And tobacco is just as addictive as heroin and cocaine. That's so.
You're a dipshit. You just did this to piss me off. I already know that.
I haven't watched the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh my God.
So
twits.
He's seriously saying that nicotine is as addictive as heroin or cocaine.
Oh my God.
Now I don't have Paul Newhouse's article right on my screen.
What do you need to know?
He's been studying nicotine for 30 years.
Here's what he said.
There's an article where he talks about directing nicotine directly into the human brain. Nobody has ever come and said, "Can I have another fix?"
Right. They had however many on patches, and not one had withdrawal symptoms. Not one person had any withdrawal symptoms, and nobody, not one, I'm going to make sure everybody understands me, not one started smoking. Not one.
And so we know for a fact that rats will not self-administer nicotine like they do heroin, because it is not positive reinforcing enough for them to give a damn about pushing the button. The only way that they can get the rats to self-administer nicotine is to separate them from their social group, put them in a box all by themselves, shake the box to scare the living shit out of them, and then they will hit the button to make the shaking stop.
I'd like to shake some people in a box. That's what I'd like to do. She can't blink.
So people are telling a lie when they look up and to the left, right? Let's see if she.
I don't know.
Sobering information for a lot of people, including parents, who might dismiss their child's use or their young adult's use as being better than traditional cigarettes.
Young
the underage
adults.
delinquent. The young delinquent.
Yeah, he's breaking the law here. He was like 15, he said, when he's. So he admitted to breaking the law. Let's put some fucking cuffs on him.
Erica Edwards, NBC News.
They don't like that, Patrick. I've said, you want to stop this, Karen, to the girls at the pave while they're drinking their Molotov cocktails. You fine them $5,000, and then you fine them the kids, not the parents. Then you fine them 10, and then you fine them 15, and then you fine them 20 because Karen's going to get tired of paying them fucking bills. That's why. And I was told, don't say that. Yeah, fuck you too.
I think that they should figure out a way to prevent the parents from paying the fine. If the kid cannot pay the fine out of his own money, then you should make him work it off.
I think so.
Like, completely prevent the parents from interceding. They don't want to be parents anyway, Kevin. So let's just say, hey, for the time being, you're not allowed to protect little Timmy. Little Timmy is going to face the full brunt of the judicial system.
The
and
way
if he
I
can't
figure
pay his fine, he should come to work on Saturday and Sunday and pick up trash on the street for minimum wage until he can pay off the fine.
The way I figure this, Patrick, is if Dustin was fined X amount and he couldn't pay, then if he's underage, then I'm responsible. Yeah. So I would have to write that check, and that would mean that him and I would have an eye to eye every fucking week. I wrote that fucking check.
But they're not afraid of their parents anymore, Kevin. When you were parenting your child,
mine were very cautious. Not afraid.
They were afraid of their parents.
Not afraid. I don't say they were afraid.
They respected the authority
aware.
of. They respected your authority.
Yes, they were never. I cannot say that I've put fear in them, but it was self-inflicted, possibly. But they knew where I was standing on whatever the subject was very clearly. Not one, I said.
But nowadays, parents don't want to be parents to their kids. They want to be friends with their kids.
You're gonna make me spit.
Like that teacher that we talked about 2 weeks ago. She wanted to fit in with the students.
Well, sure.
So she gave her vape to a student.
Well, sure.
When I was a kid, my teachers didn't want to fit in with us. They didn't want to socialize with us. They wanted to be there. They only wanted to be at school as long as they had to be to get paid.
Right.
But Mallory, I disagree with. Mallory says take away the thing that's most precious from them. Their time is the thing that's most precious with them. That's the time that they would be spending with their friends, that the time that they would be playing video games. Do not give them time. Take their fucking time away from them. Make them clean the streets. Make them sweep the sidewalks. Make them do things that they don't want to do.
Community service.
And make them do it until they pay off the fine. Period.
Now, Michael, I understand. I get it. I wouldn't want to be fined either, but I'm in a synopsis point is what I'm really trying to make. I wouldn't want to have to pay that. But.
Michael, they have this thing called a belt.
No more wire hangers. But the freedom that you give your children, it has also attached to that responsibility. For your parenting is a responsibility. Your child is your responsibility, and they have to learn that responsibility for themselves.
Well, Steve makes Steve, that would have been a solution 20 years ago, sending them to military school. But now in military school, they're not allowed to physically touch the students. They're not allowed to beat them. They're not allowed to emotionally to like bully them or to use violent words or
that's what I'll do from now
language.
On. When I don't like what you say from now on, I'm going to go like this.
My nephew went through boot camp 2 years ago in the Air Force boot camp, and he said, "Oh, my drill instructors were very, very nice to us. They never yelled at us. They didn't raise their voices or anything like that." And I'm like, "What? What?
Your days of fit." Never mind. That's a good line, though. So I can't stress enough how parenting has to be a two-way street. You have to listen. You have to communicate. You have to do both ways. And nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect parent. Certainly, I have references for that. But wow.
No, I mean, you got the pot smoking kid. I mean,
and the first thing I remember when Dustin said he was going to smoke, he told me what he was going to do, and I said, "Well, you're going to buy them, Where have you been getting them?" "Well, my friend, and you." He was stealing.
I've been
mine.
Stealing yours, Dad.
Yeah, he was stealing mine. So
yeah.
But one of the first questions I asked, and now that I think about it with this conversation, is I asked, "Where did you get them?" That was one of the first questions. Where have you been getting them? You don't work.
I've been stealing yours, Dad. I'm taking them out of the fridge because my parents used to keep cartons of cigarettes in the freezer.
Yeah.
Just walk into the freezer and take a pack out.
Not my mother, my father. My mother caught me smoking. My father came home, and he said, "Where did you get them?" That's what he said. And I said, "I got them over there at the King Quick. Stop and shop, whatever, your local."
I used
whatever.
to go to the Chinese restaurant and pay.
I did that too.
90 cents and pull the little knob and get your pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
I mean,
so my father took me over.
They don't
there.
have
He
those
said,
anymore, but
you're coming with me. And I got in the car because he said, "You're coming with me." And I said, "Okay," because he had killed me otherwise. And we went to that store.
because you were afraid of your dad. Your dad was.
I was fucking scared. Big eyes.
Just said.
So we went to the store and he said, "Do you see this fucking kid?" She said, "Yes." And she had her name tag. And he said, "Carol, if you sell this fucking kid any more cigarettes, I'm coming back and I'm going to own the place," or to that effect. There was a few extra expletives, but she got her ass chewed just as much as I did.
No, because my dad would pull in and pump gas and say, "Go get me a pack of cigarettes." And while I was buying his, I would buy my own.
He did that too.
Yeah. So you couldn't do that.
Eventually.
But all right. So I just showed you one story about how like prohibitionary tactics don't help. Here's another story that even makes the point even more, Kevin.
What?
Health impacts have been clear for decades, but new figures tonight show more and more teenagers are taking up smoking. Traditional cigarettes and vaping both on the rise as public health campaigns fall flat. Taylor Aiken explains.
So smoking and vaping are going up in Australia because they, instead of worrying about putting, all of their money in messaging about not smoking,
they're advertising.
We did a whole show about a year ago or even longer where we tried to find anti-smoking campaigns.
They don't exist.
And we could not find any anti-smoking campaigns in the Western world. We found a few in like India. There were, but nothing in the United States, nothing in Ireland, nothing in Scotland, nothing in France, nothing in Italy, nothing in Australia. Everything was, all of their money and messaging was about not vaping. So now in Australia, they've been spending the last 2 years attacking vaping and keeping cigarettes safe. Here we go. Smoking and vaping is number one in going up.
For the first time since the mid-1990s, there has been an increase in the number of teen smokers, and it has health experts worried. New research from the Health Department looked at the number of young people who regularly vape or smoke over the past 5 years. In 2018, 2% of all 14 to 17-year-olds were smokers. This year, it's jumped to almost 13% for the same age bracket. It's a similar story for vaping. Less than 1% of teenagers vaped in 2018. In 2023, more than 14% of teens used e-cigarettes. That's more than 3.5 million Australians aged over 14.
Now, I want to know, why are these people standing out in the middle of the ocean? You see all these people just standing out in the middle of the ocean?
What I want to know, Patrick, is why they won't admit that they suck at their job and they're getting worse, not better. I mean, it's blatant to me.
I just gave them the solution. Quit wasting money chasing kids away from vaping. Put all of your effort into keeping them off of smoking. You can spend some money in as part of your anti-cigarette campaign to say, you know what, kids, you shouldn't be vaping either. But put your emphasis on the cigarettes, because that's going to kill them.
No. Well, eventually.
Yeah.
That was smoking or vaping on a regular basis. Researchers say the earlier people start smoking, the greater the likelihood they will become a long-term smoker. The federal government recently announced a new crackdown on the tobacco industry, proposing new graphic images on packets and in a world.
So they're going to actually print that right on the cigarette.
I guess.
Smoking causes cancer.
That can't be good.
So as you're smoking the cigarette, the word smoking will eventually disappear.
Yeah.
And then it'll just say causes cancer.
Yeah.
And then eventually it'll just say cancer.
Yeah. In French, it looks like, and in English. That's neat.
First, warnings on individual cigarettes.
Thank you, 7 News Australia,
for pointing out that the tobacco control, the leaders, as who said that? Who said that? Michael said the world leaders in tobacco control suck at their jobs. I appreciate that very, 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 very much.
Yeah. And Michelle's right. They're adding one more ingredient to the cigarette by printing in ink right on the cigarette.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. 20 years from now, they'll say, "Oh shit, that ink we used in the cigarette that actually caused more people to get cancer."
No, they won't. Fucking what is? Wait. It's my safe card.
Write it down. 20 years from now.
Oh my fucking word.
20 years. Oh, here, Kevin. Here, this is the last video piece. You'll love this. You'll love it. Oh, I don't. I want to share a file. Present video file.
Oh.
Yeah. Here, let's watch this.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's what they do. That's your glasses, but you look like you're.
Now this is from the UK.
Vaping.
I know. You see, I don't
Lucy,
know.
she said it. She thinks it looks like adult dummies.
Yeah, she's right.
Like sucking on a dummy in a sort of.
Now a dummy, I think, is like a binky or a pacifier.
Nursing.
Yeah. I mean,
run away.
And I don't wish, honestly, if you're a vapor, I don't wish to mock you in any way, because I do think.
I don't want to mock you, but I was just sitting here sucking on my glasses to pretend like I'm vaping.
It's an addiction, really. And we all have certain addictions, I'm sure. But the country's top pediatric.
Now, that guy looks like he's addicted to ice cream.
Doctors, these are doctors for young people, have issued a warning suggesting that youth vaping is becoming an epidemic.
Sorry, I apologize to all of my UK friends. They're using American verbiage now.
Amongst children.
They've actually called on the government to ban disposable vapes, and many thousands of people in the UK have already stopped smoking with the help of the e-cigarette, but we're asking whether they actually do really need to be banned.
Or should we be prioritising the health and...
Yeah, now Janine says he's addicted to hideous yellow ties. I just think he's really addicted to bad fashion in general.
I'm sorry, I'm ignoring you.
Well-being of our young people. This morning we are joined by Professor Sheriff Sultan. The professor believes vape.
Now, who is this 12-year-old kid over here?
Believes. Is that Harry Potter? Believes. Janine, I saw that. That's
vaping needs to be banned immediately, and evidence suggests the brain in adolescence is more sensitive to the effects of vaping.
Meanwhile, Director of Research at the Adam Smith Institute, Maxwell Marlowe, thinks the notion of banning vaping is ludicrous. Well, let's get the medical case, first of all, from the professor. Certainly a compelling argument that, this is hugely detrimental to our young people.
That's for sure. And we are looking at a guess estimate that become a factoid. So let's go back to how we came at that vaping is safer 95% than smoking. It was a paper published in 2014 that the public health.
Now he's going to bring up the nut article or whatever it's called. I think it's called the nut article, and he's going to say that it was 5 people in a room. Watch.
England that followed. This paper was totally debunked in the Lancet and the British Medical Journal, been written by people from the industry, sponsored by the industry. And they claim that vaping is 95% safer. It's not safe. There's a huge amount of problems. Kids, for example, however, for adults, the formaldehyde from the heating of the coil is 15-fold increase in cancer. More than that, the vaping itself causes an inflammatory action in the body and causes threefold increase in normal healthy people of stroke and heart attack. So it's not safer, and we have to find an alternative to this way. In Australia,
Professor, could you tell me, when we're talking about children, I mean, I just wasn't aware that this was an issue with kids. Is vaping widespread, and what age group or how far down does it go, Professor?
15% of kids between the age of 9 and 15 vape. And it's a disaster because it affects their brain development, and the flavor in it is a disaster. And you could see your prime minister went on that his daughter is seduced by the coloring and the marketing of the vaping. We can't. Can you imagine you have a 14 or 15 years old kid in the house, whether a boy or a girl, having a vaping, and because he can't smell it, you allow it, and she can't concentrate or he cannot concentrate, they can't do their exams, and at the same time they've been addicted to something that will transform to full-blown smoking within 2 to 3 years whenever they're above 18.
Right. Well, Maxwell, you're shaking your head. Just explain why you think it's ludicrous to ban something that is full of formaldehyde and is leading to an increase in cancer.
Full of formaldehyde, Kevin.
Well, I'd like to have whatever the professor is smoking. There's no evidence that mainstream vapes contain formaldehyde. In fact, the thing that contains formaldehyde are cigarettes, which is exactly what vapes are there to get people off. Now, I will say that the professor is absolutely correct that children should not be vaping, and that there are some people in the industry who are purposefully targeting children with colourful advertisements and just misleading practices. Don't get me wrong, they need to be cracked down upon. But what you cannot doubt for one moment, and the Khan Review, which is the government's real anti-smoking review, really does show, with a lot of scientific backing, a lot of peer-reviewed studies, that vaping is the better alternative to smoking. Now, if you can stop children from vaping, and that's the role of parents, and that's the role of a responsible shopping community, which actually we don't have in many corner stores around the country, then that's a better thing to do. But the problem is, if you can, stop children from vaping, like you can try and stop them from smoking, which they were doing beforehand, and the professor is absolutely incorrect to say that vaping turns into smoking, there is no statistical evidence to actually show that, then well done. You've solved a real public health concern. But if you ban vaping, you'll get people back onto smoking. And smoking, people are addicted to the nicotine, they're not addicted to the tar and the chemicals that they're putting into their lungs. The reason the government is really leading the world in its vaping strategy is because it realizes the science, and the science is so straightforward. Vaping is 95% less harmful than smoking is.
Well,
and there is a lot of studies around the world to show that.
So Professor Chris Whitty doesn't agree with what you're saying, and he advises the government. You talk about the government understanding the science. He's their chief medical officer. He's very concerned about vaping, isn't he, Professor?
Yeah. Now the guess estimate have become a factoid. Factoid will keep repeating something until becoming a truth, which is not. The whole idea is built on one paper in 2014. Read the Lancet, and the Lancet was very clear. This paper is totally debunked. We must not say it's safer than smoking. The formaldehyde, hidden formaldehyde from the heating coil, is a hidden carcinogen, goes directly to the lung. What are you talking about? Read. Look at the publication. Why you are single-minded, single way?
Other anti-cancer societies who recommend smoking is removed from society by vaping. It is so clear. It is so clear from the number of large medical societies that it is the better option, and to ban it is to essentially subsidize smoking for the public, which is something that we do not want to have.
Would you worry about the environmental aspects of these disposable vapes?
Absolutely, yes. There's a real concern about.
So this guy, look at the Indian fella there. Look at how angry he is. He's sweated, like he's glowing. This guy over here, Harry Potter, he's calm. He's delivering his information in a straightforward way. This guy here, he's just repeating the same thing. The formaldehyde from the heating coil. He doesn't understand the technology. He doesn't understand what it is. He's been handed something and says, tell them that the 95% thing is a myth and it's been debunked and it's a factoid. So what do we say? I mean, who in the world has been saying if you repeat a lie frequently enough, people will start to believe it? They're now pointing their finger at somebody else.
I have a question.
Hey, you were talking and you were muted.
I know. If you has anybody ever in the room, when they say it's not 95% safer, have you ever asked how much safer is it? Because nobody gives you a different number. Is it half? Is it a fourth? How much safer is it?
I mean, really?
Because give me the answer.
I mean, would you? Again, this is people will just repeat this nonsense. This guy, oh well, he's a minister. He's an advisor for the government. Well, the government needs a new advisor because this guy cannot refute any of the stuff. So all he's pointing to other people saying, well, the Lancet said, read. And this guy's like, I am reading, and the science is very clear. And this guy's just getting volume. He thinks that raising his voice is going to make his lie more believable.
This is literally this. I'm getting the same reminiscent feeling of Mike. Crap. What's the tobacco-free kids dumbass? Matt and Mike
Bloomberg.
Michael Siegel, Dr. Siegel. Yeah. Same thing.
How those batteries are used how those batteries are basically disposed of. We, as a society, we have a real structural problem in our supply chains for recycling those batteries, and there needs to be more concerted action by government.
I don't care about the environmental impact. Let's destroy the world before we die. That's all I'm saying.
George.
I don't have any kids to worry about a future for, Kevin. So I'm just gonna,
George Carlin assured me that the planet's fine, the people are fucked, and it's going to be around long after we're here.
Yeah.
Environment.
An asteroid will come by and smack the Earth, and wipe us all out. And a million years, it'll be a beautiful paradise again for the next group of creatures that will inhabit it. Here, Kevin.
Just chuckleheads.
Speaking, I said about tap water earlier. This is a tweet.
Oh, yeah.
This is my tweet. So, Gillian McKay is the Scottish person. She's a Star Wars enthusiast. And I still hate her.
I saw that.
But if you scroll down here, she says this is the vape I referenced she was on the BBC Good Morning show. Brightly colored Skittles flavor, 3,500 puffs in it. The estimates of how many cigarettes this contains vary online between 100 and 280. Target audience here is obvious. Now, look at that. Now, this looks like it's been stepped on. It's scuffed up quite a lot.
Yeah.
Now, is there like a Mickey? I mean, if the only thing that she's claiming that this is specifically marketing to kids because it's pink and it comes in Skittles flavors.
Well, do me a favor and hit her tweet and then just slowly scroll. I don't think there's any bad words. Go ahead and hit her tweet and then just drop down as you go.
So we scroll down,
see what comes
and
up.
then there's Grim showing brightly colored dildos.
I forgot about that.
Are these marketed towards kids?
Oh my god!
And then Irish Eyes wants to know if she can order one of those.
I didn't see that one either.
I'm surprised Mallory didn't ask. Mallory, there's no tobacco in vaping, so vaping equals 0 cigarettes. Then Mallory again. All you got is a picture of a nasty vape someone tossed, blah, blah, blah. Vape Geezer says this is an illegal device anyway. Yep, that's true. No bans needed, just effective enforcement of existing laws, but trading standards don't have the resources needed. Yeah, they do have a new vape squad, Kevin.
Oh, there's Janine.
Yeah. Janine says the target audience is my 65-year-old friends for 55 years who happens to love pink. She found other devices difficult to use, so a disposable made it simpler for her. She hasn't smoked in 6 months thanks to disposables and has since moved to a refillable pod system. Then Kristen Noel Marsh, who has been on the show before.
Yes, she has.
Shows her favorite multicolored girly device. Johnny Two Vapes. Fig.
Oh, there's
Fig
Fig.
says, I noticed that you yourself wear bright colors.
I noticed something else. You'll find it. You can just scroll till you see it, because you'll see it.
Unicorn Vodka. Michael Redfern.
Oh, there's Michael. Oh, there's
Juka.
Common sense. Oh, look at there.
Yeah. And Kevin found that this same person loves gummy bears.
Tisk.
And this has got the Smurfs on it, man. This is only for kids for sure. It's got a little Smurf on it.
You crazy woman. Can you imagine adults liking all those candies and cakes and stupid? And,
oh dear God, that would be awful. Steve.
Oh, Steve. Jeez, it.
Oh dear God, Steve.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, I have a peach bourbon tobacco e-liquid. It's right there.
I haven't seen anybody cussing yet. Not one, crazy blankety blanks, and none of the name Collins, and people are showing things that are factual.
Yeah.
Now, mine's
John
probably
Dunn?
one of the worst ones. Mr. Dunn, yeah. So,
yeah.
There's Martin. Oh.
Sobriety sucks
At least
with
a link.
brightly colored female or male enjoyment device. I don't want to draw lines. Brew Dog Candy Kittens, Raspberry Guava England IPA. Some fella there blowing a kiss to people.
It contains cigarettes.
Yeah. Imagine, if you will,
who's
280
that?
Cigarettes not smoked.
Robert. I don't know who Robert is.
With 3 R's.
Now, this is an opportunity for those that don't know Twitter, that you could follow people that you thought were pertinent, poignant, funny. Whatever. Smart. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So there's a lot of replies. So,
but none of them are really
quote
crazy.
No.
Yeah.
And I did quote tweet her. Yeah. So I quote tweeted her. I said, Miss Mac thinks that any product sold in colorful packaging or sweet flavors is only for kids. I hope she enjoys unflavored generic oatmeal for the rest of her life. Obviously, she will abstain from cakes, cookies, and candies, or any product that has any flavor from now on. So I did find her a plain whole grain oats. No, and sadly,
well, there's
she
a
can't
strawberry.
Have the strawberry. She can't have the strawberry.
Yeah.
And then I did reply to my own tweet. I said, "No more tea and biscuits for you, Miss Gillian Mac. Those biscuits taste good, so they must only be for kids. Plain water and saltines for you. We will make sure it's tap water, and plain crackers. We wouldn't want the package to have any colors."
No, hell no. Of course not.
Yeah.
Oh, Didymus. Yeah, look at those beautiful, flavorful. Yeah. She got like I don't even know what the thing is on that cake, but it's some kind of a cartoon bullshit story. Who knows? Who cares? I can find the hypocritical
Queen Zolly Zolly.
Chopped cardboard.
Queen Zolly Zolly. That's who I just followed her.
Good. That's what Twitter's about. Good night, Michael.
So now,
Dave.
as our next, as our sort of last thing. So
yeah,
we've tweeted during the show.
Yes.
Now, when somebody retweets a tweet,
yes,
or quote tweets your tweet or replies to your tweet, you'll get a little alert right here by this little bell that says notifications. Now, it's been substantially more notifications, but I've been clicking on it throughout the show. So,
right.
Now, let's see. If we scroll up, we see that Addie has retweeted 2 of our tweets tonight. The Plume Room liked the 2 times I called you a chucklehead. Addie, Michael Redfern, Southern Vapor, all these people. Hunky
Beautiful
Vape
people.
is the Winston Man video has been retweeted quite a lot so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then Teresa Patterson says that she will definitely watch.
Nice.
There's
Phil.
So
there's Phil.
Yeah, Phil is. Yeah,
we're
Victor
just
was
full
in the
of
chat room.
beautiful humans and rodents. See how that works?
Bruni's not even here in the chat room, but he's
sneaking
retweeting
around on another platform. Maybe he's watching us on Twitter. Who knows?
Maybe.
I thought he was asleep.
So you have anytime anybody interacts with one of your tweets, you will get a notification. You can click that and see who is liking your tweets. So there's all these wonderful humans. Miss Allie is here, and
it's like somebody's ringing your bell. That's
and
all.
Bubba Dog, who is in the chat room, I believe.
Bubba Dog.
Addie. The Honesty Initiative.
Right. Allison. I can't see them all.
Yeah. Hunky.
I think that's Allison.
Yeah, that's Allie Vapes right there.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I mean, that's a good way to see who's interacting with you. And if you're not already following them, all you have to do is hover your mouse over them. So Samantha and Bruni and Victor and Whiplash Schneidley and Addie. So I'm following all these people. But if I wasn't, all you'd have to do is click on it, hover. See, there's Mallory, Southern.
There you go. There's one.
Oh, see?
What?
Follow.
What? You ain't following her. What?
Oh, he was already on my feed all the time. I've been retweeting and liking her. It's weird, but yeah.
I
think sometimes
unfollowed. Yeah.
I do
Twitter
think that Twitter does that sometimes.
They do. And all I do is I just realized I wasn't following you for some reason, sorted or fixed or did it now, or I know I was following people that have been unfollowed. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it multiple times.
Well, like right over here to the side, it shows me that I'm not following Stu. I don't know how that happened, but I'm now following Stu.
Were.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. It's weird. Sometimes it's weird. It's okay.
Sometimes you get shadow banned.
Yep.
Chickadee.
was. Yep. I knew that one.
I'm not following Chickadee for some reason.
Let's see. Tisk. So yeah, Twitter is I went balls to the wall, I guess is what you would say at first. Sometimes I would be off on a tangent and over tweet and retweet, whatever. I'd be pissed off at something or someone or whatever, but the cuss words are rare. As with you don't cuss on Twitter.
I never cuss on Twitter.
I have underneath something in a specific thread here and there. It's sprinkled throughout, but see, Michelle said Lindsay fell off of her list, but you never unfollowed her, I'm sure. And, so it does happen. I don't know why. I have no idea. But to cuss and scream and swear and Johnny Fantash? I can't read.
Phantasm.
Okay.
Look at that cover.
So I've found more fun on Twitter with most of the people, all of you guys in the room. Some I don't recognize offhand. Like last week, I forgot who somebody was. But anyway, the ability to touch people globally and share good information and bad.
Yeah.
And bad. Sometimes it's not good. Is essential to me. So
yeah.
And you find lots of links, lots of fun links. Good and
yeah,
bad.
I find it disturbing the way some of these social media things work, where you, like YouTube will do it too. where I will be following somebody, so I get alerts when they go live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'll notice that if I open my app, they've been live for an hour, but I never got an alert. And then I'll look and it'll say, you're not that I'm not following the page that I've been following for years.
Case in point, I got on YouTube because I usually do and say hi. Lately, I've been doing it more because my internet hasn't acted up lately. And I did not get an alert from you for the show, but it does show that the subscription is live on my left.
So
but
they're
weird.
shadow banning. They do that to Grimm, obviously. I mean, he's way bigger than we ever will be. But
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get why people watch him either. But
Ding.
No, I like him. He's all right.
So I don't know. It's the internet, the interwebbies thing. If
The
I'm not
interwebbies.
following you, and you're in the audience listening or live, and you see that I unfollowed you somehow, either A, it's a lie, B, somebody hit a button wrong, or C, tell me and I will refollow you. Just tweet at me or whatever. Who cares?
We need to do one of
can't
those.
imagine.
We need to do one of those Twitter threads where everybody just replies to one of your tweets with their @
Yeah.
just to make sure that
Well,
to say, hey, if you're a vaping advocate, type your handle and reply with your handle.
A lot of times, and it's sometimes old ones get revived. Shout out FF, this hashtag friend follow, and they put a bunch in. Some of them do it automatically with their ABC type thing. Ivana has done that a lot, and there are times where I go, "Well, I never heard of this person." Click and I follow. So yeah, it's pretty good system.
I think we gave you a kind of an overview of Twitter tonight. Showed you the basics. We showed you a couple advanced things, how to tweet videos. So if you have the ability there, you can download. Like I downloaded all of the videos from VAEP last week. So I have a folder on my computer with every one of their spotlight videos, so that if I wanted to, I could tweet them out. I have a folder with like 2 to 3 minute long cuts from our shows in the past that we can play. So actually, I found one that I wanted to. I haven't seen this one in a while, Kevin.
Okay.
It's from one of our shows. It's Dr. Glover.
Oh.
When I was looking for stuff tonight, and I'm gonna play it here, and then later on tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna tweet it.
I might like her more than Phil.
She's on the pretty high up on my list of people. That
She's up pretty high. Yeah. Adore is a good word. Yeah.
I find her to be as genuine as possible. But here, let me play this 2 minute and 30-second video real quick. Emphysema, all those things that are exacerbated or made worse or even caused by cigarette smoking. Those are, I've said it on this show before. COPD, dying of end stage, COPD, is awful. If you've ever seen somebody that has end stage COPD fighting for every breath, I'm sure that everybody that's listening to this show has probably been in a swimming pool and maybe went too deep and didn't have time to get back up for air. And that panic, that fear of trying to get to the oxygen, trying to get that breath. Think about that every moment of every day.
Forever.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the fighting for that air, that panic. I mean, it's a primal fear that all humans have of suffocation. And we need to be more sympathetic to those people. We need to understand. I mean, like you said in the intro video, this is not a black and white thing, but tobacco control has made it a black and white thing. And I'm not talking about race in this particular instance. I'm just talking about the fact that they've drawn a line and they've said, this is the way you're doing it. And if you don't do it our way,
you're a criminal.
Forget about you. We're the one. And, having the idea that harm reduction is supposed to be focused on meeting the person that you're trying to help where they are, not trying to drag them to where you are. But that's how they do it. They think that everybody's exactly the same, that if this works for one person, if I didn't realize this whole video is me, but okay.
Me.
Cold turkey didn't work for some people. There would be more smokers. I'm not going to deny that cold turkey works for some people. If the patches and the gums work for some people, wow, that's awesome. You're not smoking. That's great. But for a lot of us, it didn't work.
Yep.
And they need to understand that there's not one magic bullet. There's not one solution to this problem that's going to solve this problem for everyone.
Patrick. So it reminds me, and I don't often take the opportunity, that this specific clip reminds me of how informative you are, passionate you are, compassionate you are. And there was, I don't think Dr. Glover said a word in that, but that was not the first show for use people who haven't been following along for a long time. That was the second, I think. And we weren't being church. Yeah.
That was the second or third. Yeah.
So that's what I said.
Yeah.
So
I think it was the second.
I do too. In that instance, we were actually having a conversation with a professional that we both admire. That aside, she gave us kudos as well. I remember this. So
okay,
I'm so impressed with our knowledge and our ability to communicate. That's all.
I'm gonna play a different one.
With
so
her?
that because I just clicked on that one. I forgot that I was the one that was
we don't like you.
I was preaching. So yeah.
It was good.
It was great, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to highlight her. One of the things that you said that really something that we've talked about a little bit on the show was about, you mentioned tobacco tax. People don't quite understand. People that are not in it, people that are not smokers, people that have never been, addicted. I'll use that word. I don't like that word, but addicted to cigarettes. They'll buy cigarettes before they buy food.
Mm-hmm.
If they have enough money to buy cigarettes or to eat a meal, they're going to buy this. So this was maybe the third, but look how white my beard is, or how how not white my beard is in that video.
Yeah.
Cigarettes. Tobacco taxes invariably punish people of low economic level, low education level. They inordinately punish people of color, people that are mentally ill, people that are stressed out. All of those things. Most people that I know that have ever smoked have been they smoke to get rid of stress. They smoke to get away for a minute. You're working your job and you get a 5 or 10-minute 10-minute break, the first thing you're going to do is go out and try to suck 2 cigarettes in 10 minutes, because your job is stressful, whatever, So those sorts of things don't affect people that have means, because if they want to smoke, usually people that have means or that are more higher educated, they don't as frequently smoke as people that are lower income, lower education. But it doesn't hurt them. If they want to smoke, they have the money to buy cigarettes. It punishes people for being poor.
It is. It is a tax on the poor.
Yeah, I'm letting her speak now.
And in New Zealand, unfortunately, the Indigenous people are overrepresented among the lower socioeconomic, lower income groups. We were colonized only, just 200 and something years ago, and we're still sort of being kept down there, and higher unemployment numbers, etc. So that's why I, get really worked up about it, because it is disproportionately attacking those people.
I want to remind everybody of two things about Dr. Glover. Number one, she changed her mind.
Yes.
She changed her mind, and I believe
she was in tobacco control.
I believe, I'd have to be corrected, I believe via a Twitter thread, I believe with David Dorn, I don't remember for sure, and I'm not positive. And two, she's been blackballed. Yeah. You don't exist. You are no longer welcome. So, and she's been very gracious with us at least 3 times, I think.
4 times.
Is it 4? So
she's been on the show 4 times.
So if you don't, you should follow her. And if you do,
she came on
the
with
Church
Fig
Mouse
and Us,
show.
the first show.
Yep.
And she came on the second time about a year later. And then she came out when her voices of the
Yep.
came out, and then she came out with Squirrel.
That's right. Okay, 4. Yeah. What an enjoyable human being to interact with. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, she got blackballed by public health. She got blackballed. She was the section editor for the harm reduction journal, and could not find people that would peer review articles for the tobacco control or the tobacco harm reduction section of the harm reduction journal. Scientists and academics refused to review studies that were to be published.
Didn't exist. She also, long before I knew who she really was and who she had become, she was already leaning. This is a professional. She didn't want you to smoke, and she didn't initially like vaping. She actually, Alan Beard sent me either a message or a tweet and said, "Kevin, your survey's been quoted in a nicotine symposium." And I said, "What is a nicotine symposium?" So I went to the time stamp that he gave me, and she was quoting my survey, an answer to my survey in New Zealand somewhere in some symposium of some sort. And I'm like, what? Who is this? So, yeah. And she had no idea who I was at that time, especially because it was just over at the time. But yeah. I can climb mountains again was the part of the quote, but
it
was just an answer within the survey that I just tweeted or whatever, and she must have seen it.
So Janine, yes, she was kicked off of Twitter for a full year.
Yes,
like 13 months or so. So she couldn't tweet about what she was researching. She was not allowed to. She could see, but she couldn't respond. Because apparently somebody reported her for being a Nazi. That she was spreading white supremacist stuff.
If she was, I didn't see it.
Well, she's not white, so yeah. I mean,
I don't think that. I think that's false.
But somebody reported her, and that she was a Trumper, and I'm like, she's in New Zealand. How is she a Trumper? And that she was a part of some white supremacy. It was ridiculous bullshit, you know. So just for context about how bad off we are in society right now. Yes, she's Maori. I think everybody might at least know that there's a comic book character called the Punisher. He's he's had movies, he's had TV shows. You don't have to be a nerd to know who he is. So because the Punisher has a skull symbol, U.S. military and law enforcement have sort of adopted that symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So now that there are people that are extremely far one way politically, or maybe not even politically, but they're overly sensitized to things now, complained to the Marvel Comics that since a lot of bad people associate with the law and order or whatever, that character was now being co-opted by white supremacists and was a Nazi figure.
Lord.
So now that character no longer exists. They killed they killed the Punisher off in his own comic book. He no longer exists. They're stopping publication of that comic. They are no longer going to sell T-shirts with the skull symbol on it because it is triggering to some people. So now, you know, that's how overly sensitized we are. This
people forgot what feelings are for.
So this comic book is called Private American, and it's about a Cuban American ex-military gentleman who decides to take matters vigilante style into his own hands to police the U.S. border, to specifically target drug traffickers. Like he's not stopping people from crossing the border, but this comic book got banned because it's supposedly neo-Nazi paraphernalia, because this Cuban American is a neo-Nazi.
Oh, Lord.
People are just losing their fucking mind, Kevin.
Out of your gourds. You're all out of your gourds.
I mean, they're taking little simple things like comic books and blowing them up in, you know, the Punisher TV show was just on Netflix. It's not on Netflix anymore, but they were planning on bringing that character into the Marvel universe. Now they're not going to. That actor's no longer got a job anymore because people's feelings were hurt, apparently. I don't know.
That's what feelings are for, Patrick.
Yeah.
It's to gauge, right? It's to guide.
You know, people used to be able to accept criticism without being with, you know, if you said to me, Patrick, I think your show's kind of boring. You need to do, you know, I would take criticism. Okay, well, what should I do that's different? You know,
you should wear a dress.
Nowadays, people would be like, oh, well, he triggered me because he said I'm not as cool as I think I am. You know,
Jesus.
I think we're pretty self-criticizing on here, Kevin. We call ourselves chuckleheads.
I think we are. I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah,
sometimes I just can't help it.
And you can't. You no longer, people can say whatever they want to say without any factual basis behind it, and people accept it as gospel now. So if I say vaping is 95% safer than smoking, that guy goes on national TV and says, no, it's not. That's been debunked by the Lancet, which did not actually debunk it, by the way.
No.
Mike already replied there. But since I'm not a government consultant, my science, the science that it's not my science, but the science that I would bring to the table doesn't exist because that guy has a title that I don't have.
Right.
And Dr. Tedros is a doctor, has a doctor of public health. He's not a medical doctor, but he is a PhD. And PhD is still a doctor, but people assume that if you say that you're Dr. such and such, that you're a medical doctor. 99.9% of the time, if you come up to somebody in the general public and say, I'm Dr. Patrick, they assume that you're a medical doctor.
Yes, they do.
So if you're a doctor of music,
I didn't know the difference 10 years ago. I really didn't.
Between a medical doctor and a PhD doctor.
I mean, if it says doctor on my work order, I just assume you're a doctor. I didn't ask. Didn't care. Rarely did I care. I don't care.
I don't really care because most of the time I work with doctors. I know for a fact that some of them are not very smart.
No, nurses are way smarter.
They just passed a test.
Correct.
They learned how to memorize long enough
and
to pass a test.
And they're practicing.
They're practicing. They're not even expert enough that they don't have to practice anymore.
Right.
But all right, Kevin.
All right, Patrick.
What
Shit to do tomorrow.
How do you want to say goodnight to all of our friends that are still here?
I want to say that I love and appreciate them. I actually do. And I know sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but every damn one of you, every one of you, because you keep coming back no matter what we do. And
all of them?
Every one of them.
Even True?
Well, except Ed. Oh, especially True. Except Ed, because he never comes in here no more. So I don't think I like him anymore. But I'm going to get back to him about it. I'll think about it. I'll take another week or two.
And I'm kind of mad that Bruni didn't show up tonight.
Big Bruni, big Thunder Down Under.
He's going to show up. Or Andrew, Fred Got Steam showed up last week, like 30 seconds before he's like, "Are y'all leaving?" Like, yeah.
I'm in awe that we've been doing it this long and people still come in. So
the same lovely people that we love and respect.
Something.
Yeah,
it says something.
But all right, guys, love you. We'll see you in 7 days. We appreciate that you spend 3 hours with us every Friday night, Saturday morning, and that you laugh at our jokes and you point out when we're being stupid sometimes, Kevin. And if it wasn't for you, I would be sitting here watching a Western.
That's right.
I watched 3:10 to Yuma today. I would love that movie.
I'd be in bed.
Anyway, love you. Bye.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.